Take your work and gaming experience to the next level with the ViewSonic XG340C 2K ultra-wide high-end display. The XG340C 2K 34-inch 100Hz ultra-wide monitor features HDMI 2.1, AMD FreeSync Premium Pro, a 1000R curved screen, VESA Display HDR 400 and 1 millisecond response time for the ultimate immersive gaming experience. And take control of multiple devices with KVM support while also taking full control of your display via the Elite Display controller. To see the full list of specs and features, follow the sponsored link in the description below.
All right, so obviously Jay's not in the office today, which means we get to play with a bunch of new toys. But no, for real though, I want to give a shout out to Jay's best friend, who is also our XO and basically runs everything behind the scenes in the company. This is his PSVR2 that he's let me break the seal on and get first impressions and everything. So thank you, because VR stuff is freaking awesome and I'm so excited. So anyway, I'm not really going to be comparing the PSVR2, although I walked in with a Quest Pro, I'm not gonna be comparing them directly because it's kind of like PC versus PlayStation. Like that's not really a topic that I want to touch on in this video. I'm mainly kind of wanting to just nerd out about the hardware that's in the PSVR2. I mean, this is my first, literally my first impressions and first look at the hardware. So let's go ahead and dive right in and get this box in a box out of the box so I can open the box. It's in a box. Okay, don't need this. Ooh, more nondescript white cardboard. Cables and stuff. Ooh, headphones. Nice. All right, let's actually get, oh wow, okay, so immediately the materials that they used on the head strap and this, it's, I don't know if you guys can see that, but like look at how squishy and supple it is. They were actually caring about the comfort of this headset. Significantly lighter, like noticeably lighter than the Quest Pro. All right, so we got our cable anchor point right here. Looks like it's got a decent amount of strain relief, so that's good. I would have liked to see a removable one without tools maybe, just because you know that like some sort of accident is gonna happen. You're gonna step on the cable and then try to stand up and then it's gonna freaking rip the headset off your head or something like that. Like it's just, that accidents always happen in VR. And so it's a little sketchy that the cable is just kind of not, it doesn't look like it's replaceable. That was a big problem with the old Oculus Rifts and everything. The light blockers are very soft. I thought this would be kind of annoying because it's like an accordion on your face, but that's gonna be interesting when I test fit this out. All right, enough of the headset, let's check out the controllers. So if you've used an Oculus Quest or a Quest 2, you know what the tracking rings look like, or also Windows WMR, but these controllers have an interesting design because the tracking rings are actually behind where you grab the controller. So I like this a lot because it feels more like the Rift CV1, the Oculus Rift CV1 controllers, where the ring was downwards. Like it leads to a lot more balanced weight in the hand. Like you can tell that this isn't really going to fall forwards or in any other direction. It feels really good. Now for those people that don't know how VR inside out tracking works, the headset itself has these cameras, sensors, whatever the companies want to call them. And then inside of these rings in the controllers is an array of LED lights that the headset can track and know where your hands are in relation to it. And so that's why most VR controllers will have some sort of a tracking ring and like designed into its shape, just because that way you have LEDs so that the system knows exactly where your hands are. The clamping system is actually kind of interesting because there's a clicky knob right here, but there's also a big button in the middle. And then I just checked the manual and it says that's the headset release button. So you push that and it just freely kind of spring loaded opens so you can get the headset on and off. And it looks like once you tighten it, it actually locks until you push the button again and then you can undo it, which is actually kind of an interesting and smarter solution than the Quest Pro, because this thing it does have spring loadedness, but you have to kind of turn the knob back and forth, especially if you're switching heads to somebody else's brain size. You got to turn the knob all the way back to loosen it all the way. Then you got to do this, and then you got to go here, and then you got to hold it there, and then you got to do this thing. And okay, so that was the process for fitting the Quest Pro to my head, and now I can take it on and off easily. Let's check out the PSVR2. Oh, one thing I want to mention about this cable is that not only does it feel really overbuilt, like it physically feels heavy, but also it's kind of pretty pliable for how heavy it is. So go material science people at Sony. Right before I started to do the tutorial, I thought this was the power button. I pushed it, I heard a loud click, and then I found out that no, it's actually the eye relief that I was looking for. So you know what? Maybe I can actually wear my glasses in here. Let's check it out. All right, so VR Noob 2.0. Sick, okay. So it is actually attached to my head and my eyes aren't touching the lenses. Hell yeah. Now you guys have a really easy picture as to what eye relief is because you just push the button and then, cool, I was gonna shove it right up my face. Okay, now where's the actual power button? Is this it? Oh, the whole headset vibrated, that's weird. Okay, it's like showing me the PlayStation store, but it's like this. Why is the screen up there? I look stupid. First impressions once I'm in the headset, it is very light compared to any other headset I've worn. The weight feels mostly concentrated around the halo strap, which I like. It feels just like pretty much wearing a hat. The front part is actually lighter than I thought. So it doesn't feel like you're whipping around with a giant brick on your face like a Quest. Sick, so it's actually showing the pass-through, which means you guys can see this! Tracks the movement of the eyes. So I'm gonna look left, and then up, and then right, and then left, and then right, and then up, and then bottom left, and then bottom right. I'm gonna wink my right eye and my left eye, and eye tracking is good. Yes, I'm flailing my eyeballs around right now. It's doing what you would normally in Oculus do the Guardian setup, except it scans itself. So it's scanned, yeah, it says room scanning. So that's cool, you don't have to set up the Guardian yourself. So we're gonna be checking out Horizon Call of the Mountain. I'm trying to reserve my hypedness for this. The foveated rendering is surprisingly seamless. Like I can't tell when I look around, like I'm looking to my right side and then now my left. And I can't tell the resolution loss. Holy crap, it's so cool. Dude, my whole head's shaking. I forgot that this thing has haptics in the... So you can tell the PS5 is actually working pretty dang hard to render this scene because the overall resolution is a little blurry. I would have liked that to be a little higher resolution and cleaner. I can see some of the reprojection artifacts, but it's honestly not that bad. While these graphics are a little blurrier and the render res is lower than I would like, a AAA game like this existing is still better graphics than a AAA game not existing on a platform. And I am really sad that I can't play something like this on my PC because the Horizon world is an amazing world to put your face into. Do I have to crouch? Why is it always peace signing? Oh, whoops. Whoops. One thing I am noticing though is the sweet spot on the Fresnel lenses are still leave a bit to be desired if you're used to pancake lenses, but then again, pancake lenses cost significantly more, and you probably wouldn't be getting that with an OLED display because of the fact that you need more light for pancake lenses. So I think that's a trade-off that Sony made because this is supposed to be a consumer headset that needs to be, geez, the clarity though. I'm actually really impressed with these lenses. I didn't think Fresnel lenses would be this clear. Okay, I looked down. Dude. While I was complaining about blurriness and reprojection earlier, it's clear enough that I can get a little scared of heights. Whew. Hey, it does the thing. The dodge. Oh, and it auto locks on. That's pretty smart. That's a really dope mechanic. The dodge mechanic, where it keeps...
That'll hurt it.
Oof. Let's go! Dude, okay, that's freaking sick. I've never seen that in a VR shooter before. The fact that it lets you dodge sideways and still keeps your view and your aim locked on your target is really freaking cool. Get this in Kayak VR if you want to just look at scenery, because I can seriously just, I want this as like my wallpaper or something. All right, so here we are in the Pavlov shooting range. I like to use this game just to test the way interactions and occlusion works, because as you can see, the tracking rings are pretty big on these controllers. So I wanted to see if they would interfere with manipulating the weapon or anything, but looks like not too bad. I do like that these triggers have this haptic feedback thing where you can feel the trigger break. I can actually reach until the trigger breaks, and then it's suddenly, like, it feels interesting. I don't know how else to describe it. Cool. That's actually not that bad. So one thing I am noticing with this is when I let go of the magazine and I reach down to grab the other magazine, because of the fact that this controller is no longer in the view of the controller tracking cameras, I actually have to end up looking down to be able to grab the magazine, because the headset does not know where the controller is. So it's a little bit of a occlusion issue, but not too bad. Yeah, see, I reach down to exactly where it would be. If I look down and grab it, then it shows up, and then I can reload it. Okay, so. Ooh, it already happened! Ooh, that's awkward. Yeah, it's tough reloading. Yeah, it's tough grabbing and or reloading the pistol, because of the fact that these tracking rings are right in the way. Like, as I move the magazine up into the hand, there's not that much, there's really not that much distance that I have before I smash the controllers together. Same for up here if I'm grabbing. Actually, this isn't too bad, surprisingly. There's not that much interference on that side. Although if you were to try to grab it like this, that's a little awkward. Yeah, these rings are a little cumbersome, but I'm sure that once you get used to it, it wouldn't be too bad. When manipulating small objects like this, where the controls are all over the place, like the safe and fire switch is here, like the slide you have to grab back here, either this way or this way. The magazine you have to be able to reach right here. Like, the control points are very tight around the object that you're grabbing, and the controllers don't really do the best job at that sort of stuff right there. Oh, this is the dumb magazine.
You gotta pull it out, yeah.
All right, so now we're gonna check out how the Beat Saber experience is between the Quest Pro and the PSVR2. All right, so my final thoughts on the PSVR2. I think honestly, my first impressions was that the hardware, I kind of came into this with like a little bit like a PC VR elitist, like snobby kind of like, oh, obviously the lenses in this thing are gonna be significantly better than the lenses in this thing. But like, this is a great headset. That's how I would sum it up, is that it's a really good headset. The comfort feels great. I love the materials that they've chosen. Like, the rubber still kind of grips your head enough that the headset doesn't feel like I'm gonna like fling it off of my head if I'm doing a lot of like side to side movement. That is one thing that the Quest Pro does suck at, because of the fact that it's kind of not as clamped in and it doesn't really fully grip your head as much as the other headsets do. But yeah, the comfort on this headset, it's super light. I like that the weight feels balanced. I like the fact that you do the whole extendo, then you put it on your head, then you push the button at the top and then slide the headset towards your eyes. So it allows you to get perfect eye relief every single time. And there's a lot of adjustment. I was complaining earlier that I thought there wasn't any eye relief, but in fact, they give you a lot of adjustment because they know that these accordion light blockers right here can pretty much deal with how close or how far you want it to be from your eyes. I had no problems getting my bigger than normal glasses in and out of the headset. Let's talk about the lenses. Yeah, they're Fresnel lenses, but honestly, I feel like they're more like index Fresnel lenses than Quest 2 Fresnel lenses, if that makes any sense. If you guys have used those headsets, you'll kind of know what I'm talking about. The edge-to-edge clarity is significantly improved over my experience with the Quest 2, but the sweet spot is just as small as it usually is on a Fresnel lens. I'm sure there were a couple times Nick saw me having to do the little headset nudge to kind of recenter it back into the sweet spot. That's the thing about the pancake lenses on stuff like the Quest Pro or the Pico 4 is that basically as long as the headset's on your head, you're gonna get a clear picture. It's a trade-off that you have to make when you're trying to hit the $550 price point that the PSVR2 is. Now, yeah, some people might be like, oh my God, that's more expensive than the PlayStation 5. But at the same time, as far as the headset is concerned, I do feel like it feels worth the money in the headset kind of competitive sphere, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? It would be obviously a hard sell to somebody that's only a PC gamer. You're gonna have to look at any other headset that's PC VR compatible for that sort of fix. But it's such an awesome idea if you already have a PS5 and you might even already have a Quest 2. If you're okay with dropping the Quest 2's portability and the fact that it can play its game standalone and kind of go back to a little bit more old school, tether it to a significantly more powerful box that can drive pictures that look really good, you know, I'd honestly be torn. If I already had a PS5 and then I had a Quest 2 and I was looking at this, I probably would sell the Quest 2, get a PSVR 2, and then experience all that AAA stuff. Because honestly, you'd always get another Quest 2 later on, or Quest 3, whenever that comes out. And that's the thing that's kind of interesting and weird about having to look at this headset from the perspective that I'm looking at it, is that it's a really good piece of hardware for a platform that I have zero investment in. And so I can only kind of tell you guys that, yeah, if you already had a PS5, this is a great headset, and you're gonna be able to play No Man's Sky and Call of the Mountain and Pavlov and all those other, you know, really good VR experiences that are coming out. If you already have a PS5 and you're looking into really clear high-end VR gaming, this is a pretty cheap, relatively cheap way to get into that sphere of like, let's check out Pavlov, which is a cross-platform shooter or something like that, or let's check out No Man's Sky, which recently got another overhaul for better VR support and motion controls and all that sort of stuff. You get really cool first-party stuff like Resident Evil and Horizon, Call of the Mountain, and Gran Turismo 7, which we unfortunately didn't test because I really didn't want to test it without a wheel. You get so many cool first-party titles with like studio support that it's so hard to come by. I've seen so many people talk about how Horizon Call of the Mountain is their second favorite VR game right after Half-Life Alyx. And it's like, I wish I could play through the whole thing, you know? But I can't, because as cool as PC VR is, there's sometimes you just can't beat first-party AAA exclusives with a lot of love. And that's Sony. That's what Sony's banking on, because that's what Sony's kind of always banked on, you know what I mean? Like The Last of Us and all that sort of stuff. Those are all PlayStation titles. So that's the gist of it, but I know the VR nerds are probably gonna ask like, what's the persistence and latency and all that sort of like super VR nerdy stuff. So first off, the motion reprojection was really solid. Whenever I turned my head or moved my head, I did not feel like I could tell that the frames were being reprojected unless something very obviously moved completely across my field of view. But the moment I started doing just staring straight ahead and then smooth turning in Horizon Call of the Mountain, it was very obvious that the game was pretty much running at a locked 45, not like, I doubt it was 60 for 120, but yeah, it was pretty much reprojecting the entire time. So that's kind of a bummer, but honestly, you don't really see it, and VR noobs aren't gonna notice it that much. Now, when I tested Resident Evil, the Mira, or just the different pixel black levels that you get on an OLED leading to looking like you can see a texture on the screen, was very significant, and it was surprisingly so. Now, this was only in scenes in Resident Evil where it was nearly pitch black. It felt like there was like a very fine burlap sack mesh over my eyes, which kind of disappointing to see, but that is an OLED thing, and that's a thing that we've dealt with on headsets. I mean, I remember my Rift CV1 was pretty bad too with that. As far as persistence, I didn't really test it too much on really dark things. I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary, but I don't know if if I would say that my eyeballs are like that picky enough to be able to tell those artifacts that I saw a lot of people complaining about. Besides that, I didn't really get I didn't feel any motion sickness. There was no weird lag or latency or drop frames or anything in any of the experiences that I was playing on it. So I guess at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, I wish this thing had the pancake lenses that this thing had. I wish this thing had dope AAA titles like Horizon Call of the Mountain, you know what I mean, on a platform like that. And so I guess the verdict is, yeah, if you have a PS5 and you got $550 to burn, there's a lot worse ways to burn $550 for a gaming thingy than the PSVR2. I really do like the headset. I feel like it's a very solid design as far as like, I don't feel like I would have to be super particular and babysit it if I were to hand this to a friend that's never played VR. You know what I mean? This would be a great way to chaperone somebody through their first VR experiences. So yeah, all right, that's the PSVR2. What do you guys think? Do you guys have a VR headset already? I feel like the overlap between PlayStation owners and our fan base might be not as much as I would think, but I don't know, who knows? It could be surprising, but yeah, solid hardware. I like it a lot. All right, guys, so let me know what you guys think about the PSVR2. If you already have a PlayStation 5, are you gonna get one? Do you already have one? Are you hyped for it? It's the AAA titles, man. That's honestly, it's the software that makes me want this headset. This is some dope piece of hardware. All right, guys, till next time, thanks for watching.